Hello students, today we will be learning about living things and non-living things. Now when you look at your surrounding, you will find many things around you, right? And we can easily categorize them into living things and non-living things based on whether they have life in them or not. Now I want you to observe this picture and then pause this video and put your finger on all things that you think are living things. Now let's see whether you have touched all the living things or not. All things that I have circled and have put a tick on are living things, whereas others like the slide, the buildings, the swing, the sand castle, all of these are non-living things. All living things have some common characteristics such as they can move, they grow, they breathe, they can feel, they need food and water, they can reproduce, and they also have a lifespan. We'll go through each characteristic one by one. The first characteristic of living things is that they can move. Now, depending on their surrounding, whether it is land, water, or air, their movements also differ. For example, animals or living things on land can walk or run, hop or jump, swing or slide or crawl. Similarly, living beings in water can swim, whereas those in air are able to fly. Now, all living things move, right? But movement of a living thing from one place to another is called locomotion. Okay? And locomotion is visible in animals. So we can see in the video that living things are able to move from one place to another, and this motion is known as locomotion. This movement can especially be seen in animals. However, locomotion is not possible in case of plants. Plants remain stationary, that is, wherever you place them, they will not be able to move from that place to another place. Have you ever seen a potted plant moving from one place to another, or a tree changing its place? No, right? But that does not mean that plants don't move. So now let's see how plants move. Can you see the flowers bloom? That is a movement. Even plants which do not have flowers move, but their movement is so gradual and it is so slow that we are not able to see them clearly. This is a video of two indoor plants running in a fast forward mode. So let's see how plants move. Can you see the leaves move? And also look at the watch. Can you see how fast the time is moving? So you see, plants do move, but their movement is so slow that it cannot be observed by us. So all living things, be it animals or plants, move. However, like animals, plants cannot locomote. That is, they cannot move from one place to another. They remain stationary. Wherever you plant them, they will remain in that place till they die. Our next characteristic is grow. In case of human beings, babies grow into adults. Similarly, in case of animals and birds, the ducklings will grow into duck, the cub will grow into a lion, and the puppy will grow into a dog. In case of plants, seed will grow into a sapling, and then sapling will grow into a fully grown plant or tree. Now, before I show you how plants grow from a seed, it is important you understand the root and shoot system of a plant. Okay, so this area, this part, this region of the plant is called the shoot, and it will always grow upwards. Okay, and this blue part, okay, that is the roots, will always grow downwards. From a seed, the roots will grow first. The movement of the shoot and the root is influenced by sunlight and water respectively. That is, the shoot will grow towards the sunlight and the roots will grow towards water. Now let's see how seeds germinate and grow into a fully grown plant. See, the root has started to develop. And now the shoot is also developing. The roots grow downwards, whereas the shoot will push up the soil and grow upwards. This is a sapling now. From a seed, a sapling has generated. Beautiful, isn't it? So you see how plants grow? First, the root is going to develop and then the shoot will develop from the seed. Now to grow, all living things require energy. Yes, and from where do they get this energy? From food and water. Now in case of animals and human beings, we know that they move from place to place in search of food. Now even if it is human beings, we at least have to go to the grocery stores and buy raw materials from there to prepare our food. Yes, similarly birds fly from one tree to another in search of food. Fishes swim from one place to another in search of food. Even insects move from one place to another in search of food. Yes? But plants cannot move, right? They cannot locomote. They cannot move from one place to another in search of food and water. So what happens to plants? From where do they get their energy? From where do they get their food and water? So, since plants cannot locomote, that is, they are not able to move from one place to another, they have to prepare their own food. Alright, and only green plants can prepare their own food, that too in the presence of water, air, and sunlight. Now, air and sunlight the shoot will get, and roots will absorb water from the soil. So now you know how plants prepare their food. They prepare their food in the leaves. And that is why leaves are also known as the food factory of the plant or the kitchen of the plant. So now have you understood the three characteristics, that is move, that living things can move, they grow, and they need food and water. Yes? Now we come to our next characteristic, that is living things breathe. Now all living things have different organs to breathe. In case of animals, especially mammals, they have lungs. In case of aquatic animals, that is animals that live in water, they have gills to breathe. In case of insects, they have spiracles to breathe. And plants, they have stomata to breathe. So all living things that live on land use lungs to breathe. Now I want you to put your hand on your chest and take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in. Can you feel your chest expand or move upwards? And now when you breathe out, it's going to contract or move downwards. This is the movement of lungs. When you take in deep breath in or when you breathe in, the lungs expand, and when you breathe out, the lungs contract. Now air is a mixture of gases, right? So when you breathe in air, the air moves to your lungs. Inside the lungs will absorb the oxygen from the air, and when you breathe out, it will give out carbon dioxide. This is the movement of lungs. See them expand when you breathe in. And now when you breathe out, it is going to shrink or contract. So they expand and contract as you breathe in and breathe out. So remember, all animals that live on land, including human beings, use lungs to breathe. Now depending on the size of the animal, the lungs can be 2 in number or they might survive on one single lung. When they breathe in air, oxygen is absorbed by the lungs and carbon dioxide is given out. Now, I told you that aquatic animals, that is animals that live in water, breathe through gills. Animals that live in water breathe through gills. Let us see how they work. Can you see this movement over here in this region? See here. These are gills. And aquatic animals or animals that live in water use the gills to respire or to breathe in and out. Now, some aquatic animals like whales and dolphins are mammals, and all mammals breathe through lungs, alright? So even if the dolphins and whales stay in water, they have lungs to breathe, and they have this nostril on top, also called as blowhole. So that means the whales and dolphins have to come again and again on above the water to breathe. Now observe this dolphin. This is the nostril or the blowhole. It's opening and closing. When it opens, the dolphin breathes in and can stay underwater for some time. Please remember that even though a dolphin or a whale is an aquatic animal, it still is a mammal, alright? So that is why it is going to have lungs and it breathes through this hole it has on top, which opens and closes. and they breathe in air and stay underwater for some time. Then they have to come out of water to breathe out and breathe in again. And this hole is called a blowhole or nostril. Clear? Now, insects breathe through spiracles. Let us see how. Now, I want you to pay close attention to these tiny dots over here. These are holes in the insect body called spiracles. The air enters the spiracles through these holes. And you can see the movement over here as they are breathing in and out. Can you see these openings over here? See how they are expanding and contracting, showing the movement of breathing in and breathing out. So did you understand how insects breathe through spiracles? Spiracles are small openings in the body of the insects, and insects breathe through them. In case of plants, especially on the leaf of the plant, there are these small dot-like structures, green dot-like structures, which can be observed under a microscope. A microscope is a device with which we can magnify things and see things clearly. Okay, so under the microscope, if you place a leaf, you are able to see these dark green spots. They are called stomata, and they have these openings. This black part is the opening or a pore on the leaves, which opens and closes, and when it opens and closes, exchange of gas takes place. That is, the plant breathes through these stomata, and plural is stomata and singular is stoma. This is a stomata, and this is the opening through which, this black area is the opening through which the plant is going to breathe. These are present on the leaves of the plant. So have you understood the 4 common characteristics of living things? That is, they move, grow, need food and water, and breathe. Now let's look at the next common characteristic, that is feel. All living things feel. So all living things feel, right? Including human beings. So when it is summer and it is very hot, we prefer wearing cotton clothes, loose cotton clothes. Whereas in winters, we prefer wearing warm woolen clothes, right? Why? Because we feel cold. Similarly, when we are pricked by a thorn or any sharp object, we feel pain, right? Similarly, when you touch a hot object, you immediately move your hand. Why? Because you can feel that it is hot and that you are going to get burnt. Similarly, even animals and insects feel. Like when you throw a stone at a cow or a dog, it starts to run. Yes, why? Because it knows that if it gets hit by the stone, then it's going to feel the pain, so it starts to run, right? Now at home, your mamas must be telling y'all that not to drop food on the floor because ants will come. So no matter how far they are going to come towards the food because they have some senses and they can feel. In human beings, we have 5 senses. That is, sense of sight, sense of taste, sense of touch, sense of sound, and sense of smell. You can see things around you. That is the sense of sight. When you put something in your mouth, you are able to taste it, whether it is sweet, sour, bitter, like that. Yes? When you touch something, you can feel whether it is cold, warm, hot, etc. So that is sense of touch. You can hear sounds, loud noise, or and even the not so loud sounds you are able to hear. Sense of smell. When something nice is being cooked in the kitchen, you know that mama is preparing some good food for you. Yes? So that is the sense of smell. Now, even plants feel. They always are going to move towards light, that is sunlight. Now, can you see this plant? It is bending and one of its branches is moving towards the window from where sunlight is coming. Yes, similarly here the sun rays are coming this way, so this plant is bending and facing the sunlight. So even plants feel and they move towards sunlight. Now this is a video of the telegraph plant, also known as the dancing plant. Now I told you that most of the plants are going to move towards the sunlight. They are sensitive towards light. This plant is sensitive towards sound. That is, when you play music near it, its leaves will start to move. That is why it is known as the dancing plant. Can you see the leaves move? See here. So did you see how the plant was moving with the sound? That is, it is sensitive to sound. It's not going to move when you touch it, but it is definitely going to move when you play music around it. And now this is the touch me not plant, which is sensitive to touch. When you touch the leaves of this plant, it is going to close. See how when it is getting touched, it starts to move. So this plant is sensitive to touch, and that is why it is called the touch me not plant. In Hindi, it is popularly known as chui mui. Now we saw how animals and plants feel. Now let us look at how insects are able to feel. In case of insects, they make use of these tiny thin thread like structures arising from the head. They are called the feelers or the antenna or antennae. Antennae is plural of antenna, and they use it to feel and to find food around them. Now, our next common characteristic is that all living things are able to reproduce. Reproduce means that animals, insects, plants are able to give birth to their young ones either by giving direct birth or by laying eggs. Yes, and they produce other animals that look just like them, or other living things that look just like them. In case of plants, plants can reproduce with the help of seeds, stems, leaves, and roots. So, in case of animals and human beings, they give direct birth to their young ones, right? So, they are called mammals, and other animals which lay eggs and give birth, like snakes, birds, crocodile, tortoise, turtles, etc. So animals can either give direct birth to their young ones, okay, or they will lay eggs. And these babies will all grow up to look just like their parents. In case of plants, I told you that they can grow from seed, stem, roots, leaves, etc. Right? Seed, we already saw how plants grow from a seed in the video previously, right? That is this video where I showed you how from a seed first the roots will develop, then the shoot is going to develop into a fully grown plant, right? Now let's see how plants can grow from stems, roots and leaves. So what is happening in this video is that they are showing how a new plant can be grown from a stem. So this is a mint plant, okay, and they have already cut the stem and they're going to remove all these leaves and leave only 4 leaves on top. So they are removing all the leaves and they will leave only 4 leaves on top, and they are going to immerse the stem in a water bottle. New leaves have started to grow, and we can see that even the roots have been developed after a few days. Can you see? These are the roots. The new baby plant or the sapling is then planted in a pot, in a different pot, where it will grow into a big plant. Similarly, with the help of roots also we can grow a new plant. So what they have done is they have taken a mature mint plant out and they have cut its roots into 3 different parts, okay, and then they are going to plant it. So this is one root and they are going to bury it in the soil, and then we can see that new mint plants have started to grow. So in this way, other than seeds, we can make use of the stem or the roots to grow plants. Now let us see how new plants grow from leaves. So this is how plants grow from leaves. Now I want you to pay close attention over here. Can you see these depressions that are there on the leaves, on the edge of the leaves? From there, these buds are going to arise. Can you see? It is more clear over here. Can you see this bud? Yes, so all these are buds that have developed from these depressions called notches. Later on, these buds are going to fall on the ground and a new plant will come up. Okay, so this is how plants reproduce with the help of leaves. Clear? We can see it clearly over here. All these are buds. They are going to fall down after some time on the ground and new plant is going to come. So did you understand how plants and animals reproduce? And that brings us to the last characteristic of all living beings, that is, all living beings have a lifespan. So what is a lifespan? The time period for which a living thing lives. That is, from the time it takes birth till the time it dies. Okay, that time period is known as lifespan. So all living beings have a fixed lifespan. So here are some examples. For example, a housefly will live from 1 to 4 months, and elephant will live for 70 years or 90 years. A dog lives for around 16 to 18 years. A man will live for around 60 to 80 years. A rat will live for 2 to 3 years. And like this, all animals, all living beings have a lifespan. They are going to take birth and they are going to die one day. Just like animals, insects, and human beings, even plants have a lifespan. This tree is the Tule tree that is found in Mexico, and this tree is said to be living for the last 3000 to 6000 years. This is a pine tree and is mostly found in the northern regions of India and is said to have a lifespan of around 30 years, after which it is going to die. So some plants live for 100 years, some live for 1000 years, some live for 30, 40 years. So all living beings, animals, be it animals, plants or insects, they all have a lifespan. That is, they are going to live only for a certain period of time. So now, are you clear with the common characteristics of living things? That they are able to move, grow, breathe, feel, need food and water, reproduce, and they have a lifespan. Now look at this picture. In this picture, you can see a variety of non-living things. Can any of them move, grow, breathe, feel, need food or water, or even reproduce or have a lifespan? No, right? That is why they are called non-living things. They do not have life in them. So have you understood the difference between living things and non-living things, children? Living things can move, whereas non-living things cannot move until and unless you apply force or push or pull them. Yes? Living things can grow, whereas non-living things cannot grow. Have you seen your toys growing in size? No, right? Living things can breathe, whereas non-living things do not breathe. Living things feel, non-living things do not feel. When you hit a table or the wall, does the wall or the table feel pain? No, right? But you will. Why? Because you are a living thing. Then, living things need water and food. Do non-living things need water and food? No, right? Do you serve water or food to your television or to your sofa? No, right? Similarly, living things reproduce, whereas non-living things do not reproduce. Have you ever seen one day you have one sofa and the other day suddenly a small baby sofa comes up? No, right? So non-living things cannot reproduce. And last, living things have a lifespan. That is, from the time from when they are born to the time till they die, whereas non-living things do not have a lifespan. Are they ever going to die? No, right? So I hope you have understood the difference between living things and non-living things. And with that, we come to the end of this chapter, that is living things and non-living things. I hope you have understood the lesson well. And in case you have any doubts, please do not hesitate to ask.